The news of Jungkook's presence at the special event held by Jimin BTS immediately made headlines in various Korean and international entertainment media. Jungkook, who was previously known to have flown secretly to Switzerland, finally appeared at an exclusive event titled Reflections of Jimin, a personal tribute to ARMY, a closed-door gathering confirmed to be attended by those closest to Jimin, including a personal documentary production team, representatives of HYBE, as well as a number of Korean cultural figures. But what made the room rumble was not just Jin's speech but Jungkook's appearance in the middle of the event, which no one expected. The event, which took place in a classic inn against the backdrop of snowy mountains, initially looked simple. Jimin opened with a heartfelt speech recalling his 2 years of service, his longing for the members, and the messages he had kept for the army. But when he suddenly stopped his speech and said, "I can't finish this alone. There is someone you should see tonight," the atmosphere immediately stiffened. Then, from behind the side of the small stage, the figure of a well-built man with long hair neatly tied stepped slowly. Dressed in a beige winter coat and dark leather boots, she stood next to Jimin. No one spoke for a few seconds as if time had stopped. But when the lights showed his face, the audience immediately stood up and gave an endless round of applause. It was Jungkook. Jimin just smiled and patted Jungkook on the shoulder. He said he wanted to come as a surprise. "But he's worse at hiding secrets than I am," she laughed. Jungkook smiled shyly, then bowed deeply. "I came not as a star, but as a sister." In an unwritten moment in the script, Jimin and Jungkook sat side by side on a small stage, leafing through sheets of Jin's handwriting, diaries, unreleased lyrics, to letters he had written but didn't get to send to the members during his military service. Jungkook recites one of them in a trembling voice, "To Jungkook, who never ceases to make me proud. I know you carry a lot of baggage. I want you to know, being your sister is an honor. Thank you for growing beautifully even when the world tries to fade your light." The sound of crying began to be heard from the corner of the room. Not a few looked down, holding back tears. Jungkook himself seemed to cover his face for a moment before Jimin hugged him from the side. It wasn't a stage hug, it was a hug full of family warmth, honesty, and healing. It doesn't stop there. After the emotional moment, the two sat cross-legged on the floor and began to sing a song that the public had never heard before. The song was called ****, Where We Come Home, an acoustic ballad that tells about longing, togetherness, and dreams that never go out. Jungkook plays guitar, Jimin sings the first verse, then they come together in a space-shaking harmony. The lyrics are simple but heartbreaking. "You walk away, I wait at the light. We know that our home is not a place, it's a name we call in the dark." After the song was over, there was silence for a few seconds before the entire audience stood up to give a standing ovation. Some staff members were seen wiping away tears, with one of HYB's producers whispering, "This is the most honest work from BTS in their entire career." After the event, Jimin and Jungkook did not give an official statement to the media. But a photographer happened to capture the moment outside the inn as the two walked side by side in the moonlight, wearing thick jackets and scarves, chuckling like two old friends who had finally reunited. Shortly after, BTS official account on Weverse shared a photo. Jimin and Jungkook's hands clasping each other on a wooden table with a cup of tea and a lyric book beside it. His caption was just one sentence: "To all those who waited for us, we are back, slowly but wholeheartedly." The hashtag Jimin and Jungkook is back at the top of global trending. Many ARMY referred to the night as the most human night in BTS history, not because of its glamour, but because of its honesty. They see Jimin as a gentle and strong older brother, and Jungkook as a younger brother who finally speaks through music and a real presence, not just on screen. International media began to refer to this as the first step in BTS's revival. Not in the form of a promotional explosion, but through deep touches that touch the inner. A New York Times journalist even wrote, "If this is BTS's new direction, then the world is preparing to receive more sincere art than ever." Now, ARMY is no longer just waiting for a new song or a comeback schedule. They are waiting for stories, waiting for meaning. And that night, in a secluded place embraced by snow and silence, Jimin and Jungkook proved they're still here, not just as idols, but as human beings who still want to grow up with all of us. The next morning, the air in the Swiss mountains still left a biting cold. But the mood of the attendees of last night's event was warm, like a former hug that has not completely disappeared. Outside the inn where Jin's private event was held, some staff were seen packing recording equipment and documentation equipment. Meanwhile, Jin and Jungkook appear to be sitting on a wooden terrace overlooking the mountains. There were no words, only silence and a steaming cup of hot coffee in their hands. The moment was secretly photographed by one of the staff and then spread widely. In the photo, it is clearly seen how Jungkook stares forward with a peaceful expression while Jin smiles quietly without taking his eyes off the sky that is starting to turn blue. News of Jungkook's attendance at Jin's private event spread faster than anyone imagined. The media of different countries began to raise the story from different points of view, from the emotional to the musical to the symbolic. Many refer to this as the first step to awakening BTS's deepest side, not just as a global music group, but as a group of friends who grew together in love and hurt. Even music critics called the song Where We Come From sung last night as the most personal and touching work they have ever heard, although it has not yet been officially released. Many begged that the song could soon be heard by the world. However, HYB maintained her silence. There is no official statement about the release of the song or documentary. Internal sources only mention that the evening was not a promotional session but a healing process. It's not a show. It was a meeting of two souls who strengthened each other after years of pressure, said a source who was present. Jungkook, after his shocking performance, did not immediately return to Korea. He decided to stay in Switzerland with Jin for a few days. Many fans suspected that they were writing a song together. Some people who live in a small village near the inn said they saw two Korean men walking down small mountain paths carrying voice recorders and notebooks. They looked like two poets lost in the beauty of nature, a local wrote in an Instagram post, which went viral among the army. Meanwhile, the other BTS members began to show small but meaningful reactions. RM uploaded a photo of the evening sky with the caption, "Calm down." Jimin just wrote a blue heart emoji and the infinity sign. Suga wrote one word on Weverse there. V liked all the posts without comment. All like talking in their own silent language. A language understood only by the army, a language full of unspoken love. In Korea, fans gather in online communities to talk about the meaning of all this. Some have suggested that this is Jin and Jungkook's way of showing that their brotherhood is not just a media-generated narrative, but something that grows out of true togetherness. They are not two idols made to interact with each other for the sake of popularity. They are family, and that night proved it. One fan wrote at length on her personal blog, "I feel like I've been given a rare gift. Not because I was able to see Jungkook and Jin on stage, but because for the first time I saw them as fully human. They hurt, they miss, but they still choose to be present, not just for each other, but for us."